So, folks, welcome to SHR Media's special tonight on Sunday, Operation Absolute Resolve. An incredible thing occurred yesterday, and we have everyone here from SHR Media. We've got myself, we've got Sean, Edge of Liberty. Quick intro for each one of you, if you would please. Jersey Joe, start, go.
I'm Jersey Joe, Reverb Common Sense Show, Mondays and Fridays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only on SHR Media, and you can catch me at Jersey Joe Talks on X.
And Sean hit it.
Absolutely. The Edge of Liberty every Monday and Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 on the East Coast. You can find me on X at the number 2 against tyranny.
And Big E.
The best for last.
I'm last.
I am Big E, host of the Mission Ready Men Briefing right here on the SHR Media Network. And I can be found on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11 a.m. Central and on all the socials at Mission Ready Men.
And I'm BZ. I'm in the saloon, and you've seen me before. You know where you can find me. Tonight, we're going to go for about an hour, maybe two. We're going to wait and see how much time everybody here has to devote to this. I've got some crazy graphics loaded.
And we know once Sean gets talking, it just...
Well, then, yeah. Then I want to put this up, folks. The people sent me...
Like a cruise missile on a Venezuelan military base. I just keep firing.
Hey, Jersey Joe, he loves you, baby. He loves you. This was great. I enjoyed the hell out of this until I turned it on. There we go.
Peoples fleeing or sitting in jail. Coño, los gringos are not messing around. I think it's time for Plan B.
Hello?
Señor Presidente.
Maduro.
Chamo. Let's make a deal to stop this crazy war.
I'm listening.
You like to deport people.
I do.
And I need to import people.
I can hear Stephen Miller's tail wagging already.
Send me the Democrats.
The what?
Los Demócratas. Deport them todos to Venezuela.
High crime and rigged elections. They're gonna love it there.
It's a paradise.
Mamdani I can't live without now, but I'll send you AOC.
We can use her help to rebrand for Generación Zeta.
Would you even take the super annoying ones like Newscomb?
Con mucho gusto. Gavin and I both have beautiful hair and each have lost millions of our people to Texas and Florida.
What about Pelosi?
Yes, her net worth alone will support the Venezuelan economy for years.
All right, and I assume you're taking Jeffries and crying Chuck Schumer?
Those are the two useless ones that do nothing, yes?
Absolutely nothing.
Deal.
You know, I can't believe you're willing to import a potentially serious political opposition.
Ay, Dios mío, you almost killed me there.
You never know, I still might.
That's what makes it classic. I love that.
That was hilarious.
Well done.
I got some other things. I don't know. Do I have time to play this one? It's not that long. Yeah, I got some time. It's only 20 seconds.
It's 5 a.m. on the East Coast right now. Donald Trump just announced that the U.S. military has captured Nicolas Maduro and his wife, the president of Venezuela, after we bombed Venezuela in the middle of the night, focusing on
I
their
didn't see
capital
Vance
city.
back
and
there.
I'm just curious, what's the plan?
Dude.
What are we going to do with Maduro, with his wife? Where are they going? What's next for Venezuela?
Hey, what do you
5
think?
a.m. on the East Coast right now.
I don't know how when I first went through and looked at that, I missed Vance up in the upper right-hand corner. That was so sad.
My favorite part of the JD Vance meme is that we've all accepted Fat JD Vance as an acceptable replacement for him, and we're not even mad about it.
No, what the
He's just
hell?
there, and we're like, oh no, that's cool.
Like, did you see the guy who actually said he would vote for Newsom over Vance because Vance was fat?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I have this one. This is semi-serious. If it bores you after about 5 seconds, let me know and I'll kill it.
Stole Maduro. They stole him out of his bed in his pajamas, trying to run one of the few socialist nations on earth, and they stole him like a hawk stealing a rabbit. Wow. It's not okay to break international law.
Okay, the first thing when I saw this is this guy serious? or is this somebody's parody? Because I could believe both at once.
It's hard to tell these days.
And it's a parody.
Biggie.
Fuck. Oh, and I can't forget. Oh, let me do this. Damn, can I even find it?
That's what she said.
Yeah, I know. Jeez. First, let's go to this. Let's start at the start. And because we're SHR, I'd like to start at the SHR Media Network. Folks, if you want to find out really good stuff going on, what's going on in news, go to shrmedia.com, shrmedia.com. And if you would, while you're there, in reference to what occurred yesterday, here's a great encapsulation by the entire SHR Media staff, absent the fat one, which says Maduro captured in absolute resolve. And then if you go there, make sure that you scroll down. You'll see various Twitter incantations, all sorts of sources for you. Later on in the show, we'll have that information for you. But again, go to shrmedia.com for this. And also of import is at shrmedia.com. This story, Democrats who scream dictator about Trump now cry illegal after a real one is removed. This is by Jersey Joe. Both excellent articles at shrmedia.com. So while we're here, who wants to take it first in terms of what the hair happened? Sean?
Well, let's talk about the operation itself, or do you want to go back to well before the operation? You start the operation, and then we'll break down the entire history.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Well, I mean, everyone knows the meat and potatoes that happened Friday night into Saturday morning. I lodged my complaint with the White House because how dare they start something like that just before I go to sleep?
Yeah.
Both Joe and I were getting ready for bed when it hit, and it came across as a couple of and I don't believe anything on social media anymore until and I'm the worst. Like, people send me stuff, and I'm like, there's no way that's true because it's on social media. That's just like everything now until I start seeing other verified sources. So, as we all know, the U.S. came in, had air superiority. They came in on a first wave with rotorcraft, both Vipers off the amphibious Iwo Jima. There were Apaches allegedly involved, and of course, Nighthawks.
Right, there you go.
From SOAR, the 160 Army 160th Group. So before all that happened, a lot of people don't realize this. The fact that this was not leaked. Now, New York Times and WAPOs are saying, oh, we knew about it. We didn't just say anything, which I call entirely bullshit.
No, actually, Trump, I think, did say that in one of his speeches that it did leak out.
Really? I still don't buy it.
Yeah, I don't buy it either.
I think they're looking for clout and trying to be like, we still have people on the inside. And by the way, bragging that you did not leak classified information, I go back to the Chris Rock thing about not going to jail. You're not supposed to brag that you don't go to jail. You're not supposed to go to jail.
Yeah, that's not the flex they think it is.
Yeah.
Can I brag that I didn't rob a bank today?
Yeah, exactly. You're not supposed to. You should be turning those people in. But I digress. Months ago, and we all know when the buildup started over the summer, we already had individuals on the ground, most likely CIA, but also Delta.
That was reported that they had CIA officers on the ground.
Yep. They had many assets.
Everything I'm reporting is stuff that has been publicly reported from the government sources for the most part. A couple of them are from people that I trust. But so they had Maduro on base, his schedule down to when he was going number 2. Everything they had, and all of his movements, where he was staying, on what rotation, how much protection he had, what rooms he were in. They knew the layout of his secured rooms. Somebody in Venezuela is getting $50 million. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
They actually built a replica of his palace.
Yes. They had so much information. They built a replica, and by all sources I've seen, it was identical.
Mm-hmm.
They do. So they got all of that information, and then they got the cyber in place. I don't know the specifics. All I know is something was uploaded to the Venezuelan air defense system and electrical system where they flipped a switch and they killed everything.
Ooh.
And you might say, oh, Sean, we've seen that before. We have not on this scale. We have never seen that on the scale. Usually we kill electrical through bombings and early attacks and sabotage with explosives and people on the ground. That's how we kill lights and we take out, and they absolutely, whatever did get lit up, they took out with some radiation missiles and stuff like that.
Couldn't you say this is like proxy weaponry? Because the weaponry that they had was Russian sourced, Iranian sourced, and Chinese sourced.
And we took it all out by some nerd hitting an enter button.
It went bye-bye.
Which is, and this is well beyond just taking out a dam or taking out an electrical grid for a city. We wiped, from what I understand, the internet in the country, the cell services, the power, and a lot of radio systems with the push of a button.
It's sad they didn't do the exploding cell phone.
Or the beepers.
Well, because so much of that, and we have that in this country too, is voice over internet related. Radios now are ROIP. So much stuff is done over the internet to carry signals that killing switches and killing powers at switches and all that other stuff takes it out. And now you have to go back to old school, which a lot of places don't train for going old school radio comms anymore. To be able to, I'm talking about be able to set it up the signal core, not how to communicate.
You want to see some boom booms?
And this is after, the amazing part is this is after all that was done. This is making sure nothing was going to get us as we were coming in or finally coming in, and nothing was going to get us on the way back out, which there is the way back out right there, what you're seeing. So, and you start looking at the narco boats, and I think the narco boats, while we're still part of a mission in general, the narco boats, to me, I think was a distraction. I think they had so many people worrying about them droning and bombing the narco boats that became the focus. Maybe not for Maduro's inner circle, but at least international and our country. Everybody was so worried about the narco boats. Goody.
Yeah, it's starting to look that way.
Yeah,
I didn't even think that.
Taking all this into consideration, it seems like that those boats were a distraction.
And then you talk.
This attack was supposed to happen like 4 days ago.
Yeah, and I know it was supposed to happen longer ago, and the weather just didn't
cooperate.
Then you talk about the rehearsal. Apparently, what the Delta guys, and they had FBI agents from the HRT team working and training with the Delta guys for this mission. They went in and were part of the arrest team. They ran this through so many times, it's like second nature. They board the craft, and that's when all hell breaks loose. We had, and this is what's being reported. Again, there's so much more that we're never going to know or we don't know.
Yeah.
But this tells you just, I'll sum it up when I'm done. We had unmanned drones. We had the Bone. They used the B-1 bomber in this. You had F-22s and F-35s, F-18 Growlers that were jamming, AWACS systems that were up. Everything that we had was done in layers. We had guaranteed air superiority before we left the boat. Think about
I thought Pete Hegseth was unqualified.
Yeah, he's terribly unqualified. If this is unqualified, I'll take unqualified, I guess.
Well, we saw what qualified did. It got how many killed in the withdrawal of Afghanistan?
Yeah,
that was qualified.
And then they come in, and and I know this is pretty typical military stuff, but they didn't just hit where they were going or something close to it. They hit all over the country. And they caused so much disruption in their communication, so much disruptions in their planning. And one of the things that Venezuela does, that I was reading a thing on how many dictatorships do this, all of their major military leaders all live in the same building. We saw this with Iran too, when Israel blew up their building not too long ago. So we took out the majority of their leaders. That's the majority of the 90 that were killed in early attacks with cruise missiles. Oh, that was the other thing with the air superiority, is we had cruise missiles. So you leave the boat, cruise missiles flying, huh?
Ted Cruz.
All the aircraft that could launch missiles were launching missiles. The EA-18 doing what it does and jamming everything up. The helicopters come in. Now, there's numbers all over the place as to how many helicopters, how many Delta operators, blah, 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 blah.
That many.
I'm exactly.
You'll never know.
Because we'll never know.
How often do we even hear that Delta did something?
Yeah. Delta of all things. You always hear about SEAL Team 6. You rarely hear Delta. They get on the ground, they do their thing. And when I say they do their thing, is I'm not even going to speculate what their thing was. All I know is they did their thing, balls swinging, probably out of their pants, just knocking doors down with them, because that's the only explanation. They go in, they snatch him up within, I think it's 2.5 hours from the time they started to the
I love this.
That's amazing.
And they got it before he got into a safe room.
I'm sorry. This is going to make me laugh from now until forever.
From what I understand, wheels up to wheels down, something like 2.5 hours. And we knew, Joe and I were talking as the event was going on, and we were writing about it and posting about it. We knew they were waiting for something from Maduro one way or the other. I still, and I'll get into this afterwards, why I still think there's a level of surrender that was involved in this. I think that there was some conversation ahead of time. But either way, I don't think that his troops knew per se. I think that maybe him and a couple people, because how did they get the layout of the bunker so well inside unless you have somebody on the inside, right? That's the only way that happened.
Well, the one thing I read is that they called him just prior to getting into a safe room, and they even had contingencies to get in the safe room.
Yeah, they were getting.
I don't think he surrendered. I think that was a capture.
We'll see.
It really doesn't make a difference.
It does not. I mean, that's my point. It does not. So they go in, they drag him out. He and the wife throw him on the Chinooks. They get the hell out. If you don't know who SOAR is, look up SOAR, the Army's the night. What do they call them? The night stalkers, I believe. I heard about them before. I did a whole bunch of research into them. They're unbelievable. They were flying 100 feet off the water to stay under radar all the way in, just in case. I mean, at night with nods. I mean, they're just beasts. Again, they're flying the helicopter with their balls too.
All right, I got a quick question, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
because it's a question out of my house that I don't have an answer for, and it may be a stupid question, but why'd they take the wife?
She was under indictment too.
She was okay. I did not know that, but I had my wife and my mother both asking me why she was arrested at the same time.
Well, and you know, it goes back to, people have to realize narco-terrorism through the whole country of Venezuela is corrupt, from the top right down to most of the street cops. All of them are and all the major politicians since Maduro took over the General Assembly 2 years ago. Everybody's on the take. That was the last bastion of so-called democracy, even though they were powerless. And if everything you read will tell you that every major politician, every leader, every strong, they're all in Venezuela were making money, and they're all making it off narco-terrorism and selling gold and all the other stuff outside of the Venezuela law. So they get him on the boat. They get him trained out into a really snappy Nike suit. They give him a cool pair of sunglasses and a bottle of water. And then he gets a first-class ticket off the Iwo Jima, I'm guessing to Puerto Rico, because they closed down the Puerto Rican airspace that night.
Yeah.
For about 3 or 4 hours. So I'm guessing that's where they flew him from the boat. Was to Puerto Rico. They put him on a plane. The plane goes to New York, lands. He's on a helicopter. He goes and he gets booked, gets off that, and he goes to the detention facility, all before Trump's Diet Coke got warm in the glass. This was...
this is Rubio helping. Hey, can I stop right here for a second? I get
a couple things to clean it up. So go ahead.
Okay. God, where is it? Let me see if I can find this now. Oh, damn. Well, okay. Keep talking, because I have to go. Oh, wait, no, here we go. This is great, folks. If you haven't gone here yet, boy, do you need to. Now, we know Marco Rubio does everything. Here's the website that proves it. Go to X, go to Marcos Rubio Jobs. Marcos with an S, Marcos Rubio Jobs. And here it is. And this is living proof. Look what he does. He works on the beast. He talks to everybody. He pumps oil. He has all to do with pumping oil. Oh, by the way, they got him this because he's going to be probably Venezuelan president. Who knows? But hey, he looks great in a uniform with about 10 pounds of gold on it. Anyway, all the stuff that you would want to know,
This
right?
is awesome.
That was him back in Roswell down the bottom. I saw that one too. The very bottom is, yeah, he actually went back in time to oversee.
That's so cool. And somehow he managed to keep his tie red.
He always keeps it red. It's amazing.
That's fabulous. Anyway, folks, go to X. This is wonderful. Marco Rubio jobs. Anyway, just had to insert that. Sorry to interrupt.
I totally understand. The other thing that people I don't think are taking into account of how important this is, this sort of mission, getting out the exfil was just as important as getting in, because if anything happened, which they took a couple rounds to a helicopter, they said, if anything happened and the helicopter carrying Maduro and his wife went down, everything's lost. The whole mission, I mean, the balls of steel mission that this was is so underreported. Everyone's so worried about the politics of it all. Like, let's take a second and realize what these operators, what all of these warriors on every level that were involved in this mission did, and the risk, because like I said, getting out, it was just as important as getting in, not just for our guys, but for the international view of it all. If we lost them on the way out, it would have been chaos.
Remember Desert One. We remember trying to exfiltrate OBL.
Yep.
But what I said in our comments that one the other day is, remember a time in this country when we would have celebrated this as a country?
Yeah, everybody would have.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah. I mean, top to bottom, everybody would have been celebrating it. Oh, it's a good thing. Well, maybe he didn't have a right to do it, but you know what? He did the right thing. Now it's
you're
protest against
fighting everybody online to explain why this was a good thing and why this had to happen and why it should have happened.
And they all
sooner than this.
All of them were saying it was a bad thing 5 years ago.
Oh, what do you got? Chris Murphy during Trump 1.0. Oh, he needs to go in there and remove him. He doesn't have the guts to do it. He needs to do it. Goes and removes him. Oh, he did an illegal thing. He should have never done that. He's endangering. What the?
Chris Murphy is the biggest twink in Congress. I don't care. He's such a jackass.
Really, even bigger than Swallowwell.
It's
Ted Lieu?
They each have their own.
Swalwell's a cuck.
Yeah.
Let's get our categories straight here. When
Fair
really,
enough.
One of the things that, again, we've given credit to Fetterman several times. Fetterman came out today and his only release on it was celebrating the work of the military members. He didn't talk about whether he believed the mission should happen, shouldn't happen, whatever. All he said was essentially, our military kicks ass and I'm really proud of them.
Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
Huh?
Debbie Wasserman Schultz?
No.
Oh, she came out and commended Trump. Said he did the right thing. Yes.
Really?
She also has a high amount of Venezuelan.
I was going to say, I'm guessing she has a large Venezuelan population.
Another Florida Democrat that has a high amount of Venezuelans has, that's cheered Trump on.
That's the one thing I wanted to talk about, because you have all these guilty, overeducated white people talking about how it was such a bad thing. Meanwhile, Venezuelans who escaped are celebrating all over the world, all over the country, in New York. And then you have these people going in and protesting against them. It's like, read the room.
Yeah. They can't. They
what about
can't
that Australian that got arrested?
Yeah.
Because he was counter protesting the anti-American protest for arresting Maduro, and he's chanting USA, and he gets arrested.
Well, and we can all agree that this was a wonderful thing for the Venezuelan people. This isn't over. There's still got a lot of work to do. This doesn't flip a switch and make things better.
Oh.
But this is something that the international community called for years ago. Even the UK, of all people, the UK, who wouldn't share information with us about the narco terror boats, and they made a big deal out of it, stopping that information.
How did that turn out?
Exactly, we didn't need their ass. But even Keir Starmer, essentially said, "Hey, Maduro was a POS, and we all knew it. and something had to change, and I'm going to talk to Trump about this.
Did you send Keira Starmer on purpose?
Yeah.
I'm tired of these Democrats that come out and go, well, Maduro was a bad person, but don't even do the first part. If you're going to sit there and bitch about it, don't try to cover your ass by saying Maduro was a bad person, because then go, well, I'm not sticking up for Maduro. I said he's a bad person.
I said on X, at least have the stones to start the conversation by saying, well, Maduro is a POS butt. And I'll tell you why, because up until yesterday, they were all showing their ass. They weren't even adding that caveat in to make it seem like they actually care about the Venezuelan.
Yeah, but does that really even make a difference when they go, no, you're still sticking up for them?
It doesn't. But if you're going to be an asshole, at least try to be a more flavorful asshole, right?
Jeffrey Dahmer wasn't a bad person personally, but
he paid his bills on time.
He didn't kill kittens. Right? Here's Joe Biden. Nicolas Maduro is a dictator. I strongly condemn his regime's violent takeover. Bad. But what are you going to fucking do about it?
Nothing.
He removed sanctions against them.
So let's talk. Let's talk about Maduro, and let's talk about. We can get into the politics of this. It's going to be going on forever. The politics is easy, but I don't think enough people are educated enough about Venezuela. They know what happened Friday night and Saturday. They don't know the history of who Maduro is. They don't know this last election in 2024, that his opponent won with over 85% of the vote. And this was counted by international observers outside of Venezuela. So who know how many votes really were. And he still said, yeah, thanks, I'm keeping power. That's who Maduro is. Okay. Yeah. He is a hardcore communist. He's not a socialist just because he's part of the Socialist Party. It's like saying Mondami's a socialist. No, his beliefs were communist. The government seizes all any way to make money is run by the government, essentially. People that oppose are violently put down. There is a complete dictatorship, and the government gives you what you need because you can't go out and earn beyond that on your own, which has turned into Venezuela. What we know it is, has a 60-something% extreme poverty rate in the country, who in the 1950s, it's a lot like what happened to Detroit. In the 1950s, Venezuela was one of the richest countries in the Western Hemisphere, second only to the United States.
Yeah, but collectively, we just kicked their ass.
Yeah. So, and then they've always had issues, like I said before we went on air, with some corruption and some issues like that. And they completely built their whole economy only on oil. They're an oil-dense country, which everyone's argument is, oh, Trump's only doing it for the oil, for the oil, for the oil. What do you think China was doing it for? Russia was doing it for? Iran's doing it for? Because they like the way that Maduro dances when he goes on stage?
Did you see that Venezuelan that put that out there?
Yeah.
Like, what do you think China and Russia are doing that you're sticking up for, idiots?
100%. And Iran, when Venezuela was talking about going to war with Guyana last year or the year before over that region that's disputed, that's heavily rich in oil, Maduro brought in Russian trainers, Iranian trainers, and Chinese trainers for his military to prepare for that war. There's also a lot of talk, back channels, that if Iran fell, they were going to be the leadership was going to be fleeing to Venezuela. Yeah. That ain't going to happen now.
Well, it doesn't Democrats, and I hate to go back to this, but don't Democrats hate CEOs?
Yes.
And rich billionaires?
No,
they're okay that these billionaires are making billions of dollars off literally the backs of starving people?
Yeah.
That's okay.
That's totally the guy, Edmundo Gonzalez, he was the actual winner of that. And then the opposition leader, if you remember, was this chick, Maria Corina Machado. She was barred from even running.
She's the one who got the Peace Prize, who thanked Trump. Who thanked Trump for this.
Good evening, O2AMT.
Oh yeah, and you go back. So you go back to Maduro, and he picked up where Chavez left off. Chavez was a piece of shit, socialist, communist. Maduro was eventually his vice president. And if you look at from the 60s and 70s on, when they built everything off of just oil, every time the oil prices plunged, they ended up in poverty. and then they would come back out, and then they would go back in poverty because nobody in that country would build agriculture, would build any sort of other industry. So they've always had problems. Well, when you have people running your oil industry who don't know how to run an oil industry, and it's your only industry, and it keeps going into the shitter, and then you have these socialists who overspend on everything.
When you're talking about those oil fields, right now they estimate that they're only pumping out 18% of what they actually can because nobody knows how to run them, and the equipment's so old and such a piece of shit.
Yep.
And no, it will not affect the United States with our gas price because everybody's, oh my God, the gas is going to go up. No, it won't. It has no bearing on ours.
It's going to go down at some point.
Well, in another year or two, once they get everything up and running, yeah, it will drop our prices even more.
Do people even remember this? Do people even associate Maduro with this? Mostly with Hugo Chavez. Do you remember that Venezuela was the country where people were eating zoo animals because they couldn't find food?
Not that long ago.
That was 3 years ago, right?
Yeah.
I mean, still, people were saying they were eating
probably yesterday. I mean, you look at, and then what ended up happening is what always happens is once they got in trouble for money and they started getting sanctions because of how they were treating their people and doing all this other stuff, they started going to, just like if you ban guns, only the criminals are going to have guns. When you ban legal business and banking because the government is so bad and treats its people so bad, they're going to go to the criminal countries, the rogue states. And they started having Russia come in and China come in and Iran come in. And Russia, by the way, there are reports that a Chinese envoy was on the ground in Venezuela, landed the day of the snatch and grab of Maduro. Wow. So how's that for a welcome?
He should be here by now.
Maybe traffic.
Morning, gentlemen.
Yes? What's the update?
The president won't be joining you. United States sent him a ride last night, an Uber, straight to the airport.
An Uber?
Yep. So breakfast is just you two. Sorry to break it.
You left with the Americans? Well, that changes our morning.
Guess we'll eat.
I love that. It's my favorite line.
The other thing that makes me laugh is the people that are against Russia.
Morning, gentlemen.
Are the ones that are bitching about this. And it was Russia who was benefiting one of them.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't know is that the Russian state oil companies, even though they don't buy oil from Russia, they're selling from Venezuela. They're selling all of Venezuela's oil and making the money off of it. They're the go-between. And there's also a process, I forget what it's called off the top of my head, that you need to make certain parts of, I forget what fuel it is, that Russia has a ton of, but no processing ability, that Venezuela was processing for them. They'd send the ships down and processing and go back. On top of it all, there were talks as early as last year of Venezuela trying to get, Russia trying to get nukes into Venezuela, just like they did in Cuba and the Bay of Pigs. By the way, missiles now from Venezuela to get here and nuke us only take 30 minutes. There's talk of China trying to do very much the same thing at one time or another. So when they're out there saying, oh, you know, under the War Powers Act, the president only has the right if there's a national security threat. But on top of the 100,000 Americans that are dying every year from fucking drug overdoses, which is kind of a national security thing, if you ask me, let's throw that out for a second. China, our number one enemy, Russia, our number 1.5 enemy, having nukes 30 minutes away is kind of a fucking national security issue, don't you think?
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
Well, sorry, I just read Rick's commented.
In terms of China, Russia, Iran, we're taking basically oil out of the hands of our enemies. And in terms of Russia and Ukraine, for example, Russia's entire government revenue is 1/3 oil. So what happens when Trump puts that Venezuelan oil into the market, lowers oil prices, and Russian oil values plummet? And then Russia's going to have an even bigger problem funding the war against Ukraine. And Venezuelan oil, as we all know, went to Iran and China. And China is the largest consumer of Venezuelan oil.
7% of China's oil comes from Venezuela. Think about what that does to their offensive, potentially with Taiwan. Add in a little caveat.
No. This just proved us going into Venezuela. It gives permission for China to do it. The dumbest fucking comment I've heard like a couple hours from Democrats. I mean, Jesus Christ, people, it doesn't give them permission. China's going to do it if they fucking want to.
Well, does this mean somebody can fly in and snatch Trump out of the White House? You
ahead,
can try.
Yeah, go ahead.
Got a shot.
Sure.
Let's see how that goes for you.
Under Biden, we threw a big balloon everywhere.
Yeah. But you also look at, I mean, we haven't talked about this at all. What's going on with Iran? If Iran falls, and it doesn't matter how it falls in the short term for this to be possible, Iran is 20% of China's oil. If you lose Iran and Venezuela in the same month and you're China, you are so porked, it's not even funny.
But the chances, I think, is high Iran falls with them freezing their economy. The economy is collapsing. The protests that are happening, the people are tired of it. And the region is tired of Iran because, like we talked about when we were attacking Iran, the region learned, holy shit, you get people coming to visit us, we make lots of money. And they don't want an unstable Iran there anymore, so they want Iran government gone. So they're not going to get any help. So the chances of them collapsing is damn good. And then next up, I think Cuba's in deep shit now.
Well, he already mentioned Cuba.
No, he told Colombia better watch his ass.
Cuba or Colombia.
Yeah, he told Colombia, yeah, watch your ass.
Yeah.
But no, just Colombia, I think, is pissing its pants right now because they're like, oh, shit.
But they think it's all about oil. It's all about it. It's a military strike about oil. This was done by warrants of arrest that were acquired. You know, people don't, why are there so many DEA agents running around there? The military went in, took care of action, but they think it's all about oil. The Venezuelan government under Chavez originally pursued nationalization of oil as a sovereign act. And it was contested, if everybody remembers, by the U.S. oil companies that were involved. I think one of them was Conoco. It was about compensation. So, you know, oh, no, you just went ahead and stole it. No, what occurred is that international arbitration panels said, hey, we're ordering you, Venezuela, to pay billions of dollars in awards to the firms. For example, like I said, Conoco, what the hell is it? ConocoPhillips, $9 billion. So Democrats and leftists were saying, oh, no, it's no problem. The issue was resolved. There's no issue here. Trump's actions are completely unwarranted. Okay, except for ConocoPhillips hasn't been paid anything, not a dime from the award.
Well, and let's say it is all about oil, right? I mean, I'm not saying it's all about oil because I clearly just pointed out a million reasons why it's not. But let's say it is all about oil. Okay. But that oil, like we said earlier, was getting bought by somebody. And it's being bought mostly by the people that the Democrats in this country supposedly hate because of the war in Ukraine.
Yeah.
So let's say it is about controlling the oil. To stop that, you're still winning as a Democrat because Ukraine now has a better chance of survival.
Mm-hmm.
So why did Biden, for example, raise the reward on Maduro from $15 million to what the hell was it? $25 million.
Yep.
Why?
Why did he remove restrictions? And
Posing? It's just being a poser.
Joe brought up a really good point, because then when Maduro said, okay, we'll have a real election now, Biden turned around and said, okay, we'll lessen the sanctions up quite a bit. Maduro said, hey, great. Now I have money again. Appreciate you. Bye, Joe. Which is exactly what happened.
Well, the whole thing was cartel of the suns. And if you remember seeing some of the photographs of the generals, various generals that were aligned up with him, and they had little epaulets with suns on there, not SONS, but SUNS. This, members, if illegal oil and gas, it was all about illegal oil, gas smuggling, illegal mining, military drug trafficking, facilitating drug trafficking,
Which military
And
drug trafficking is like saying taxpayer dollars. It's government drug
well, yes, it's government sponsored, precisely. Yeah. And members of the Venezuelan military were supplying FARC, the Colombian Fuerzas Armadas Revoluciones de whatever the hell, Colombia, FARC.
Especial.
They were supplying mansplaining to FARC and the Sinaloa cartel, Los Datos, all those dudes with high-powered military weaponry that they got from where? Russia, China, places like that. Oh, and Iran, I forgot that too.
Well, and also, I don't know why the Colombian president, well, let me rephrase that. It goes to show you who this Colombian president is aligning with, the fact that they're upset that the Venezuelan government, who was supposed to be arming their supposed enemy in FARC, got taken. Because FARC, for a lot of people who don't know, are some of the biggest cocaine traffickers in the world.
Hell yeah.
That's where they get all their money from. And the government of Colombia is supposed to not want that. So you would think that they would be happy that the guy supplying FARC, who's supposed to be their enemy, because Colombia is supposed to really be trying to get the drug problem down, would be happy that he's fucking gone. That's like being unhappy that the drug dealer on your street was arrested because, you know, even though he sells your son drugs, it's okay.
It impacted my source, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I find funny is Maduro was throwing Colombia, you know, under the bus before the day before.
Friday.
Yeah, the day before the attack happened. He's like, it's Colombian that's bringing the drugs in. It's not us. It's Colombia.
This Friday. This is after he said he was willing to negotiate, which is why I think he knew something was coming. Yeah, he was on
attacked, and they hit something along the shoreline before this attack happened. I remember briefly reading something. It was like a drug warehouse or something they hit. They blew up.
I think that was a test of our systems to make sure that what we wanted offline was offline. See if that single cruise missile can hit without alarming anybody, which it did miraculously. Then I think that was the test.
See, I didn't think of it. That whole going after the drug boats and everything could have just been a big red herring to make everybody look the other way.
Not a single plane from Venezuela made it into the sky.
I heard
not a single
that's amazing.
American person was killed. We had 2 injured. We had a helicopter damaged, which continued to fly away.
No civilians were killed.
Yep. 90 military.
What does success look like yesterday?
I'll tell you. And I know everyone's like, oh, no wars, no wars. I thought he was the no war president. No. First of all,
this was not a war.
This was not a war. This was an operation. There's a difference. And sometimes you have to do that. Look, I don't care who's president. Every once in a while, you're going to have to nut up and do something you don't want to do. You're going to have to and it sucks. And I don't want wars either. I don't like our troops being put in harm's way. I also do not want Russian nukes in Venezuela because that threat now changes the entire dynamic. And we're back to having nuclear tests and raid drills like we were doing in the 60s and 70s.
Well, this is just the president reasserting American dominance in this hemisphere.
And the Monroe Doctrine.
We can't have Chinese. We can't have Chinese nukes. We can't have Cuban nukes. We can't have Iranian. We can't have any of that. Mm-hmm. And this was him. This was for people who can't really seem to grasp this. This was America first.
Oh yeah.
This was absolutely America first.
Agreed.
And the fact that these leftists are defending Maduro now is just
tell me a subject they've been on the right side of history on in the last year.
It's crazy.
I don't think there's a single goddamn subject they've been on the right side of history on.
Yeah, well, and you know, to go back to Earl's point too, what did this message send to the world? Even not just in our hemisphere. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you are. I don't care how well protected you think you are. Because remember, Maduro had Cuban soldiers as his personal guard because he didn't trust his own military to do it.
Trust his own soldiers. Imagine
that. How up he is, right? So you turn around And now you're anybody, and everyone's saying, well, he could do this with Putin, but yeah, but that's not our problem. This goes back to the America First in the hemisphere. This was our problem. That was a Europe problem. Europe could do that. Look, British SAS are pretty dialed. German GLG, pretty dialed. Like you have special operations group, but guess what? We don't fuck with us because we can snatch you out of your bed at any time, anywhere, no questions asked.
It's not just that. Look at Iran. What about Iran? What we did to Iran?
Yeah. No,
we smacked them around like a baby back bitch and had our guys back before dinner.
Yep. And what this says to the rest of the world, GSG 20, I'm sorry, I said GLG. GSG 20.
GSG 9 is German.
Who's the 20?
Well,
yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
I screwed up my acronyms. Fucking shoot me.
Bang.
With an AK, I don't care.
Yeah.
No, but so what this says to the rest of the world is not only can we come get you when it's time, but that whole bumbling military Afghanistan, poor leadership, yada, 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 is gone. We're back to letting the troops run the operations, and we're back to doing it with unbelievable lethality when we need to, and don't dick with us anymore. We're just not playing that game anymore.
It was an op to end all ops. My guess, in various war colleges all around the planet, you're going to find that this will be used as a reference source.
I'll tell
Absolutely.
you. Yeah. As far as operational design, execution, everything, this is going to be studied for years. And there's no way it's not. And your own, like you said, 2 people injured and you took some small arms fire to a helicopter.
Yeah. BFD.
Holy.
Let's see. This is the thing that you guys and everyone listening right now knows. Jesse Kelly said quite a reveal for where we are. The Democrats weren't briefed pre-raid because we knew for a fact they would leak it to ruin the opposition. Anyone doubt that? I do not.
We needed a cricket button.
Not for a moment.
No, it's 100% why we didn't tell them. Look, there are so many anti-American Democrats in Congress.
Crazy.
It's out of control. And they would absolutely, in order to make Trump look bad, they would absolutely have dropped dime on this raid and sacrificed American lives. And you can't prove otherwise to me.
No.
And again, it doesn't matter if you agree with the raid or not. The simple fact of the matter is, if you were leaking this, you were okay with putting Americans in harm's way for political gain. And I'm not okay with that. That you are anti-American at that point. Even if you disagree with the operation wholeheartedly. Look, we all disagreed with the way the Afghan pullout went, right? I mean, that's not debatable. But we fucking advertised it for days that was going to happen. And what did happen? A member of ISIS was able to get close enough and killed American
13 soldiers died.
Yes. And that doesn't even mention the Afghan citizens, whether you like them or not, whatever, who still got murdered that were just trying to get the hell out of there because even they knew what was coming under the Taliban.
A 5-year-old could have directed Lloyd Austin how to pull out American troops and civilians.
I know who should have pulled out.
Yeah, Lloyd Austin's father.
Jesus, you guys are nothing but a pack of card. Well, let me riddle you this then. Number one, I don't believe in coinkydink. I don't believe that Iranians deciding that they're going to, who are actually Persians, are going to rebel against their leaders, and all this going on. The other thing is, Trump says, okay, we're going to be in charge. Today, Venezuela military, they decided that they're going to recognize VP Delcy Rodriguez as an acting leader. Dealio is she's every bit as bad as Maduro, and she's twice as smart as Maduro. And the other thing that she has to do if she's going to cooperate in this order, number one, she's got to stop the drug trafficking. And then number two, she's got to expel the Iran, the Hamas, the Hezbollah operatives, the Russians, the Cubans, the Chinese, And she's got to halt the use of Venezuelan oil to prop up all the enemies of the U.S. that each one of us just delineated here. But wait,
there's something else that has to be done too.
Erections.
There's two Diosdado Caballo and Padrino Lopez. They are still there. They are still in power, and they are just as much a part of the regime that Maduro was.
Yep.
And so I don't know what dynamic goes on between the VP and these two, but the fact is, this isn't done.
No,
this is not done by a long shot. As long as those two guys are there,
serious vetting is going to have to be done in the future. Now, I think it's smart not to topple everything from the very beginning, from the get-go.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you don't. We've learned that you don't just go in and destroy an entire government, because then we're there picking up the pieces instead of them putting it back together. The first thing that she needs to do is install the rightfully elected president. Even if there's like a transitional government, right? I mean, but that needs to be the first thing that she do and says, look, I recognize him as the elected president. She can play her I'm willing to work with him game, blah, blah, that politicians do, whatever. But I'll tell you right now, if I'm her, that's my first move, because I don't want to be woken up with a whole bunch of nods looking at me while I'm lying in bed because I'm now just one of a trip to New York.
What are the chances you think that happens, though?
She won't do it.
I don't know.
I think everybody here, I mean, this is all opinion, right? I don't know. I'm just kind of looking at it.
They just walked in with not even breaking a sweat and took the leader. You think she's going to sit there and go, yeah, I want that job. I'm going to do exactly what he did and piss them off even more.
Well, you got to look at the fear.
Then again, you know, people are stupid.
Look at the fear factor, though.
But
right?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking to. Fear.
Yeah, it's entirely a fear factor. It doesn't matter what's, you know, it's like everything else. A watched hand doesn't steal. It doesn't necessarily mean that she's going to all of a sudden had an awakening. No, that's not going to happen.
But she was told that if she doesn't do it, they're going to find somebody else who can.
I think it's going to be, let me see if I can work out a deal of
I'm going to save my
overpower and you give me a free pass to get out of the country and no criminal charges. Let me get out of here free.
Well, and I kind of think that's what is going on with Maduro, too. I think Maduro said, look, I'll tell you where all the bodies are buried if you get me out of here. That brings
has she actually
sell a Diddy right now?
Just struggling.
Now, early on, and I haven't heard anything to the contrary of this, but early on, I heard that she said that she was not the president and that they still recognize Maduro as the president of Venezuela. Has she retracted that or gone back on that at all?
I think she took off the I'm with stupid shirt. And I think that she was sworn in the minute he left, and I think she's the de facto president right now.
I'm now stupid.
Well, yeah, she is the de facto president, obviously, but I mean, that her statement was that she was not, and she was not going to cooperate.
Yeah, and I don't believe that for a second. Again, you're dealing with strongman government, right? I mean, it's like Iran, it's like all these other places. What they say on the forefront is not the deals that they're cutting behind the scenes. You think about you have the, again, a strongman mentality. Countries that only understand strongmen because that's what it's been run by for so long. When you put the fear of God into them, that the men in the black pajamas are going to show up while you're going memes at 3:00 in the morning, and it could happen again at any moment. It changes perspective because they're all about survival, right? They're all narcissists. I mean, it's all about just them. So, because if it was about their people and do what was right for their people, we wouldn't be in this situation. So
they couldn't care less about the people.
Earl made a couple of great points. And Earl said that there were a couple of people that were involved there. That Diosdado Caballo and Vladimir Padrino Lopez. They are specifically, Diosdado is the interior minister, and that Vladimir Padrino dude is defense minister, working hand in hand. And those are some of the
and they run the Sons cartel, whatever it's called.
Yes,
cartel
along with Maduro.
They are it. Funny thing is, did you guys hear today? James Carville said today that
relevant?
it's nothing but it's a diversion from Epstein. That's what it is. It's a multi-billion-dollar diversion from Epstein.
Everything's about Epstein.
So sick and fucking.
Are they even? Is that even still a thing? Like, do most people even still talk about this? Is it even really?
Nope.
Yeah,
but
I didn't think so.
They don't have anything. You know how they operate. We've been doing this for a long time. They're gonna chew on that bone until the very last piece of grizzle is out, and they're not even looking at the fact that there may be another buffet up the line. They're just looking at what's in front of them chomping because they're not smart enough to turn their head.
Did you guys see the headline for AP?
Which one?
No.
After Maduro, who's next? Trump's comment spurs anxieties about his plans for Greenland and Cuba.
Cuba's next.
How sad.
If any,
what is Greenland? But Jesus Christ.
But we're not going to go in and take Greenland. So
no.
I'll tell you right now,
desperation of these fucking idiots.
If I could be in my 70s and go back and visit a Cuba that the people in the 40s used to vacation to, I'd be totally okay with that. But it has everything to do with the fact of look at who their allies are. Yeah. And remember, the Bay of Pigs happened for a reason, right? And Putin, the older he gets and the crazier he gets, we know that Russia's military has spent over 1 million Russian lives to get 2% of land during this entire operation with Ukraine.
It's personal.
We know their military is a paper tiger. Their military is not as good as they say it is. Their Air Force isn't. They have no Navy left. All they have is nukes. That's all we have to worry about. And if anywhere that they're going to start plopping nukes close to us like they were trying to in Venezuela, like they did in Cuba, that is a national security issue, and that is the only threat they have. So that is what they're going to try to be leveraging the most. Yes, they can do some espionage shit. Yeah, they can kill us in our sleep, and they still have all those capabilities. But by and large, they can't say, like the old Russian machine used to be able to, that they can come over to America and kick our ass. It ain't going to happen.
No.
We have more well-trained teenagers who go to gun ranges on the weekends than they have in their military.
I think Canada has a better chance than Russia.
I don't think Canada has that chance either because
that's my point. But I think Canada would have a better chance, and they have.
I'm still back at the Don Road doctrine. That was great. Hey, somebody in
reason Canada would have a better chance is because they're here. They're
well, that's what they were like. We can mingle amongst you, and you would never know it. Hey,
but that
want to go about? Yeah, we know who you
open the door for me. Get them.
But they're like, oh, we can mingle amongst you, and you would never know. We know who you are.
Yeah.
No, you want to go get barbecue,
for it.
O2AMT said, hey, Van Hollen from one of the Northeast states said 2 years ago that Maduro shouldn't be in office or a similar point. Huh. Funny. Look what I found.
Well, we stand with the Venezuelan people who overwhelmingly, it turns out, voted for Gonzalez and against Maduro. This is why many of us called immediately for transparency, for the Maduro government regime to release the results. And there's a reason, Jose, that they hid those results, because we now know, because we've seen results that were released by some of the opposition figures from about 80% of the polling places.
So wait, does that sound like a Democrat going Jacuzzi Maduro?
First and foremost, the guy's name was Joe. I don't know why he called him Jose. That's just jacked up. Somebody reposted, and I reposted it today too. All of these white people who are trying to say Venezuelan names with Spanish accents are the biggest. I thought cultural appropriation was a bad thing among the left, right? And I'm looking at just so many of them being like, well, the attack in Caracas. And it's just like, shut the fuck up.
And they sound so stupid.
Stupid. Well, former President Nicolas Maduro, it's like, dude, I get it. You're white, I'm white. We can't say it. Stop insulting people who actually speak that way, you donkey. Like, just knock it the fuck off.
Sean, you mentioned that there was a setup to this thing. And I would indicate it started about a year ago. Everybody remember back on January 20th, almost exactly a year ago. So Trump signs that executive order, okay, about criminal organizations and drug cartels, that they become foreign terrorist organizations, including Trinidad, Venezuelan gang, blah, blah, blah. And then the 20th, February 20th, then the Trump admin says, okay, we're designating 8 more Latin American crime organizations as foreign terrorist organizations. Anybody see a lead up to this at all? Oh, wait. August 19th, the U.S. military deployed 3 guided missile cruisers to the waters off Venezuela. Then we sent F-35 jets to Puerto Rico in September, while a Navy submarine carrying cruise missiles operated off South America. Then September 2nd, the U.S. carried out its first strike against what Trump said was a drug-carrying vessel. This all sounds, does this sound like a lead up to any of you?
It absolutely sounds like a build-up. Absolutely.
I mentioned earlier, and before I forget, I wrote it down, but my brain has a tendency to jump all over the place. We forget that what's Maduro going to say in custody? Maduro's going to be fighting for his life, and he wants to get to a club fed somewhere and do his 20 years and then get his payout and go home, right? That's what he's hoping for at best. There are a lot of people saying that there is a lot of Democrat money that came from Venezuela via Act Blue and other places. And also, Venezuela, under the Maduro regime, used the semantic voting system, the one that is being called into question repeatedly. And we were told there's no problems, there's no elections issues, What is Maduro and his wife now going to say to save their own asses? And that's something that people should think about, because when I wrote in the article earlier, I was talking about the tendrils of Venezuela and how deep they go. They go all the way to China, they go over to Russia, but they also come into America. Not just the fact that we may get more Venezuelan illegals who want to go home eventually because their country is actually rebounding and doing well. It goes through Mexico.
Already people are planning on going back.
So along those lines, Sean, what are the chances that he survives?
Look, I don't know if the federal guard, I think she's an Italian woman, Hilario Clintano. I think she's the guard that works at the Brooklyn BOP facility. That's potential, right? Yeah. I mean,
they stabbed themselves 20 times in the back. It was suicide.
Right. In separate cells in different buildings at the exact same time.
4 shots in the back of the head at the same time.
It reminds you of oh God, who was the terrorist group in Germany in the 70s that killed themselves when the Palestinian air hijacking, the Israelis took the plane back and it all went to shit at once, and then they simultaneously 3 of them committed suicide at the same time, one of them with 2 shots to the head in a German maximum security prison.
You guys somebody mentioned Chris Murphy, and Joe sent me this. And let's play this about Chris Murphy. Joe sent this to me, and I want to make sure I play it.
I love it.
In 2019, you wrote an op-ed and you called for Maduro to be gone. You said, let's get one thing straight. There should no longer be any debate about Maduro's lack of democratic legitimacy. The Trump administration is right to put restoring Venezuelan democracy at the center of our approach to this crisis. A return to a stable democracy is in the interest of the Venezuelan people and the United States and the hemisphere. We don't know what's going to happen with regard to the civilian leadership there. Tom Cotton was just here saying that he hopes that there are democratic elections. Isn't that what you want?
Well, the rest of that article was a criticism of President Trump's early moves to saber rattle around regime change.
But it's okay when Democrats do it, though.
Of course. Who did he killed again? Wasn't it Gaddafi? Was it Gaddafi? Not Gaddafi.
Noriega. Let's start with
Noriega was.
Then you can look at Gaddafi. And Obama.
Democrats.
That was underneath Hillary as Secretary of State.
Yep.
That's all illegal.
We put in the Shah of Iran in the 50s. People forget about that. We installed them. We did the exact same sort of thing.
I saw some idiot on social media. We have never arrested a foreign leader before. I'm like, Noriega?
75 times, maybe.
And
I guarantee you the person who said that was probably like 20 years old and doesn't know anything.
You don't know your history.
Wow. First one of the show. Because so many people are stupid and young and completely ignorant of history and have resultingly no perspective.
The Constitution says he cannot start a war.
Yeah, he didn't. Good call.
He did.
Exactly.
We haven't declared war since World War II there, chum.
Now,
Look,
why haven't we?
War was not declared in Vietnam. People forget that.
No.
War was never declared.
You know why we haven't declared war? And since World War II? The benefits that are given to the soldiers coming back almost broke us from World War II, almost destroyed the country financially. So they don't declare because they don't want to pay the benefits out.
The war on terror
Marshall
was
Plan.
not a war per se. It was not a congressional war. It was different.
This gave a new definition to the war on drugs.
This no, actually it didn't, because we lost a lot of military members in the war on drugs in Colombia back in the day. So this was the war on bullshit. This was actually a direct assault on socialism in a good way. I don't mean that in a negative, disparaging way whatsoever.
And we learned that Democrats don't like Venezuelans being brought into the country legally. They only like them illegally.
Yeah, you can't bring in 2 in the right way, but you can bring in a couple billion the wrong way. That's why I love that meme I posted earlier. I made of ICE going in one direction and the military and the FBI going in the other direction. One group way. Wait a minute, we got 100 going out, and you have 2 coming in. What the fuck, man?
Maduro wasn't just a narcotics trafficker; he was a terrorist, and we forget that there were a lot of other things that were involved. He took power illegitimately from Venezuela, intentionally set to act against the United States of America and in the interests of all of the enemies of the United States. And shall I blow your minds and shit in your mess kits with this? There's some people that said Venezuelan military intelligence whistleblowers confirmed the CIA outsources election rigging technology like Smartmatic from Venezuela. It's about a lot more than narco trafficking. It can be about oil or Israel or contrary to all that stuff. I'll put this up too. Narco terrorism, counterintelligence, espionage against the United States, Smartmatic, and elections. All right there.
Now you
Standard Mark 1, Model 1. But wait,
there's more.
Now you know why the Democrats are shitting chickens right now.
It all dovetails.
We've been saying for a while that they've had their hands in fucking with the cartels and all that. There's no other reason to have an open. Well, there's a couple reasons, but the main reason to have an open border is to allow those fucking drugs to come into this country.
And here's the other thing you have to remember. Let's say Cuba happens. Not that we get a ton of influx from Cuba. Let's say Cuba happens. And let's just say this forces the hand of Mexico to actually take back the 65% of the country that they don't control anymore because the cartels do. And for whatever reason, they just let that happen like it's totally normal. Let's say this forces the hand of Mexico to change even.
Who let the dogs out?
Right.
Sorry.
What did the Democrats, what did Biden do? He opened the gates and let millions in to fuck up elections, which was the end game. I don't care what anyone says. They can talk about. I know the Democrats love having slave labor in the fields. I get that. They've made that clear a million times, but that wasn't the end game. The end game is for districting. The end game was to flood the system. The end game was to undo America. I don't give a shit what anyone says.
I've said that from the beginning.
It was
legalizing drugs
reality.
is a way to destroy this country that they've done multiple times.
If you all of a sudden start having these countries stabilize, look at Chile, look at El Salvador, right? You have these countries that were a shit shows, Venezuela, Mexico, Colombia to a point, and they start stabilizing and things start going normal for them. And all of a sudden people want to now repatriate back to their home countries. What does that do to their little plan?
See, when you say El Salvador, the first thing that comes into my really fetid little neural brain is my song, Bukele, 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 Bukele. The dude by himself has turned around an entire country.
Yeah, he proves that jailing people actually works.
Yeah, imagine that.
But so
try telling that to Mayor Mohawk in Chicago.
Oh God. Oh geez. I'd be embarrassed about you, Earl.
More people died this past weekend in Chicago and died in this whole Venezuela attack.
Yeah. And more mass shootings.
Can you imagine that? Not to belittle the people who perished, because it's terrible, but you just think about the fact that we went 4,500 miles south with a massive, and we went into a country who was supposed to have decent defense, not great, but decent. They had Russian material, and we came out with a couple of bullet holes in a Chinook and 2 injuries. And we don't even know what the injuries were from. They could have just jumped early out of the helicopter and broken ankle, like legitimately.
Yeah. We don't know
if they actually got hurt in combat or if they got hurt in the operation itself.
And we may never know.
I twisted my knee refueling the.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff.
We had a rope going down the fast rope.
We will know in the future some things, a lot of stuff. But as everybody here has said, though, already and acknowledged, there's a lot of junk you ain't going to hear. Not from this regime, not from 47. Now, maybe depending on what happens under 48, whichever 48 may be, sure, they'll throw a turd in the punch bowl. But
I'll guarantee
now, no.
I'll guarantee you one thing. There was not a single DEI hire in that whole
and the other thing is, if you think back to Trump's first presidency and all the leaks that were happening, he learned a lot.
Oh God,
he learned a lot.
Yeah,
from that and the intervening 4 years up to now.
Could you not say that it was best that he didn't win 2020?
Looking back on it, absolutely.
It could be.
I'm going to go with what Earl said too, though. There's also, because something that was not said enough, and it's something I think that's taken seriously now. Who is the AG, or not the AG? Who's the prosecutor, the federal prosecutor in DC now, where all these leaks happen?
Oh, Perino.
Gene Pirro.
Gene Pirro.
So, to play off of what Earl was saying, if you got caught leaking, they would actually fist you now for it, versus before where you got caught leaking to the press. They were like, "Oh, that's just Joe. He leaks every week, and we're cool with it."
Well, or you were feted or given a Nobel, one of the two.
Whereas now it's like, no, you leak classified information, have fun doing 20 years, and it's not club fed. It's a bang me in the ass prison, like it's real. Right. So that plays a part of it. When you're serious about making sure that your classified information is protected, as they have said they have, getting the press out of the Pentagon. Oh, it's a First Amendment right. You had no right to be in the Pentagon. It just means you can report whatever you want about the Pentagon. But the First Amendment doesn't mean that you get to sit in on top secret missions at the fucking Pentagon, you cucks.
I'd like to see where it says you have the right to be in these meetings.
Oh,
I've looked.
Nowhere.
Walk the hallways at your own whim. This is what the Democrats hate right here.
I just want to talk to you, America, and I hope you have your coffee when I tell you this, but these are great news. All eyes on Venezuela. These are historical news. This is history in the making. I mean, my chest, it feels like it's going to explode with joy.
I'm happy for them all.
President Donald Trump and Maria Corina Machado just created an opportunity for us to begin working harder than ever, because that's what we have always been doing, but now we will be working in our country. But, you know, we also have worked so hard here in the United States to build so much things. And I just want to thank you, America. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to work. Yeah, come celebrate with us. We love everybody because you, America, has loved us so much.
What a reversal from Hugo Chavez eating zoo animals, millions of people leaving Venezuela and flooding the border countries, to now.
The only ones that are upset about this whole thing are white, whiny, liberal.
Yep.
And I'm the only ones complaining. I have not seen any Venezuelan that says this is a bad thing. I saw on X one posted, not a Trump supporter, does not like him, but thanked them.
Yeah. And look, I don't know, somebody said that video may have been AI, whatever, but I've seen 150 videos at least on social media, and that's just scrolling, not looking specifically for them, of videos like that where people have said, hey, I appreciate what just happened. I appreciate the president for doing it. You don't. And how many of them are saying to these white Democrats, you have no idea what our country has been like for the last 40 years and how destroyed it is. And you're sitting there mad that we've been giving an opportunity that you have in your country. You and your country can protest the president. We can't do that. We get run over with APVs and shot for it.
And they're showing up to these celebrations where a bunch of Venezuelans are happy and celebrating, and these lunatic leftists it's like that meme where the white person puts their hand over the black guy's mouth and says, "Shh, I'm going to tell you how oppressed you are." Yeah. That's exactly what this is.
That is exactly what this is, and what to say, because you don't know how to do it yourself.
Muchos años esperando esta pronta libertad, que todavía, bueno, pero por lo menos estamos saliendo.
Now they're not happy.
What she said, I agree with.
Everything, every word of it.
Exactly.
This is exactly what the Democrats hate. They hate this.
And look, as an American who understands and appreciates the rights that we actually have in this country and wants to uphold them and not just piss them away, I feel for those people. I truly do. And when you have an opportunity now, and again, we talked about it, this is step one in a multi-step process. But when you now actually have a light at the end of the tunnel where your life could be vastly improved in a short amount of time, and your children do not have to suffer through what you suffered through, or your grandchildren, that's a good day for the people of Venezuela. That's a positive change. And and guess what? That they don't give a rat's ass about Chris Murphy or any Van Noffer and all these other jackholes that go on the air and just fucking flap their gums stupidly for an extended period of time. They don't care about them.
Is what's his face going to run and have margaritas with him?
Oh, probably. He's already. Yeah. I was shocked he didn't meet him at the tarmac with margaritas in hand.
So let me get something straight though, real quick. 9 months ago, we were supposed to be Ukraine flags. 8 months, Palestinian flags.
They
7 months, Mexican flags.
Yeah.
6 months, Iranian flags. Now we got the Venezuela flags. When are we going to see the American flags from these?
I'll tell you right now, if I knew somebody that had a business that dealt with cloth products, I would be absolutely way ahead of this flag product right now. I'd be making millions off of selling flags to morons. Because it would be so easy to do. I just
that would be the name of my country, Flags to Morons.
Well, the other thing is start a printing press, and go into California, New York, these grassroots protests that popped up and the millions of pre-printed signs that are done in minutes. It's just amazing to me. It just blows my mind how good these printing presses are now.
Somebody somewhere posted one of these liberal Democrats bitched because they ordered their signs for the Stop the Bombing of Venezuela first thing Saturday morning, and they didn't realize that we had already stopped bombing Venezuela.
There you go.
We got to stop the bombing, stop the war. This was before you even knew what happened.
I got to play this video because this is Maria Machado, and she put shit all together right here.
Some people talk about invasion in Venezuela, the threat of an invasion in Venezuela. And I answered, Venezuela has been already invaded. We have the Russian agents. We have the Iranian agents. We have terrorist groups such as Hezbollah, Hamas, operating freely in accordance with the regime. We have the Colombian guerrilla, the drug cartels that have taken over 60% of our populations, and not only involving drug trafficking, but in human trafficking, in networks of prostitution. So this has turned Venezuela into the criminal hub of the Americas. And what sustained the regime is a very powerful and funded, strongly funded repression system. Where does that funds come from? Well, from drug trafficking, from the black market of oil, from arms trafficking, for human trafficking. We need to cut those flows. And once it happens and repression is weakened, it's over, because that's the only thing the regime has left, violence and terror. So we ask the international community to cut those sources, because the other regimes that support Maduro and the criminal structure are very active and had turned Venezuela into the safe haven for their operations into the rest of Latin America.
And that's one thing we didn't talk
She
about.
nailed that.
But we didn't talk about Hezbollah being in there.
They were. Hezbollah was in there. Hamas was in there. You bet.
Well, and the other thing that they're not talking about, all this talk, and rightfully so, about sex trafficking and human trafficking that we have in this country and all the issues. Venezuela is the leading sex trafficking and human trafficking country in a bad way in South America. They're used to move people through them, or their own young women are sent to other countries to be slaves. Many of them end up as either sexual assault victims and slaves, or forced to make cocaine. Right. So let's talk about
anyone really surprised by that, given what we know about Venezuela and the criminal activity that they're engaged in. I mean,
I'm not surprised, but it's always like, save the kids. What about the kids? Save the kids. I'm like, no, I'm with you. Let's save the kids. Let's start toppling the regime that absolutely allows it to happen like it's nothing. On top of all, and these are all just for Americans and for us. These are all just, I hate to use the word bonuses talking about something so seriously, but potential oil prices dropping. Okay, that's a bonus.
Yeah.
Stopping all of this human trafficking, that's a bonus. Stopping the drugs, that's a bonus, right? Having a stable partner in the region, that's a bonus. But all of that is superseded by the fact that it keeps China, Russia, Iran, and probably North Korea. We haven't brought up North Korea a lot, but I'm sure there's some business that ends up from Venezuela that goes to North Korea.
I'm sorry.
No, it's been too long. I'm glad you brought that
up.
It
has been too long.
And that's actually the whole reason I mentioned North Korea. No. But for any of those countries, from getting oil, it's selling products, including weapons and everything else that could be used against us later, but more importantly, to keep them from their influence and potentially nukes and military in Venezuela. So I keep waiting to see the downside of this, other than the fact that it really does make Trump look good, even for those of us who are I don't want a war. I don't want a war because I saw
sometimes war is necessary.
But you know what? If you have to do an operation and a military operation, do it like this, where you get in, you achieve the objective, you let the fucking big ball motherfuckers who know what they're doing plan it and run it, and you get the fuck out. If that's what we do, I'm okay.
You know what I'm upset about is we did not spend tens of billions of dollars in NGOs to try to solve this problem.
Oh no, that's sad. Hey, Big E sent me this because I'm guessing that it was because of child trafficking. So Big E, I put this up. Maybe you can explain the point that you were trying to make here, and maybe talk about it a little bit, because the print might be too small for a lot of people to see.
Well, I just came across this on Citizens Free Press, where there was a Craigslist ad, and let me see if I can pull it up, hiring child actors for a contract to basically run ads for, or to do an ad for the daycare. My family runs a daycare city here. Happened over 5 years until Monday, when funding was cruelly ripped away without cause. Due to this insane, poor decision, clear in white supremacy. Give me a break. We had to close our doors immediately. I mean, there could be a child trafficking angle to it, but there's also just the idea that
they can't rent their Lamborghinis.
Their revenue stream is gone.
Okay, Google, craft a Craigslist message for me in which you talk about white supremacy, me being a victim of the system that I was actually making a victim, and how I really need children, and make it sound as least offensive as possible.
Yeah. That other slide says that they're paying $1,500 a day per actor.
I will absolutely wear a diaper for that. No,
Yep.
That's
$1,500
that's pretty sketchy.
$1,500.
You know, there's some people that will pay for that, Sean. You better watch it. You might get your rent and other things paid for.
Yeah, trust me, it won't last that long. The first time you see me strolling out in a diaper, it's pretty much that I would absolutely destroy that little weird.
Thanks for that visual, Sean. I really did not need that.
You're all welcome. I could single-handedly ruin so many odd fetishes just by participating in them.
Big E also sent this to me. North Korea launches ballistic missiles towards sea ahead of South Korean leaders' visit to China.
Joe, you or me? Which one? I'll do it.
Hello. Hello. So thanks for that. Appreciate it.
So, I mean, as we look into this, and look, all these other countries that we've talked about, you know, they're watching. You know, Russia's shitting Twinkies right now.
Oh, everybody.
I'll tell you though, Iran.
Twinkies are made.
Yes, by Putin himself. But what else did this military action lead to? Even if it's just a delay, China's impending invasion of Taiwan, because you now are making 7% less fuel. If Iran drops, like we talked earlier, that's 20. So this could have a positive effect in protecting Taiwan without ever having to fire a shot in the Pacific Ocean.
Wait a minute. I speak leftist, so let me translate, not for Sean, but for leftists. Does that mean, Sean Lewis of the Edge of Liberty, that President Trump may actually be playing long ball?
Wow. Exactly the point I was about to make, BZ.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly the point.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at all the things that are happening, that are coming together, and that how everything is falling into place, he and his team have put together a plan that is going to set us up for a success for the long haul.
Doesn't
and
it
when you
seem
start
like,
to see all this stuff come together, that is exactly the point I was going to make.
But Earl, he's the dumbest man that's ever held the office of presidency. I know that because somebody with blue hair put it on X.
doesn't it seem like every continent is affected?
Well, if they put it on X, it must be true.
Yes, of course. Hey, speaking of X, I cannot end the show, and I don't know when we're going to end the show, but before we do, I got to put this up. This is 24 seconds. This is, this is 24 seconds of the White House going, okay.
Venga por ti. Aquí lo espero en Miraflores. No se tarde en llegar, cobarde.
And now, if you don't know, now you know.
We did not invade. We were invited. He invited us. He asked us to come get him.
The hell out of that.
So we sent an Uber for him.
Quiet. Oh my!
Special international Uber.
I had to play that. Jesus, there's no escaping it.
Someone disappeared.
Yeah. Or locked up, froze. I'm not sure which. But in any event, I mean, this is some good stuff. We're in a flux period, but I think it affects everything. I think, as you guys pointed out, we appear to finally have acquired a president, maybe not necessarily under 45, but definitely under 47, who, like the Chinese, and not so much the Russians, they're kind of dorks. We have somebody who appears to be playing actual long ball on behalf of the United States of America. And I find this, number one, stunning. And number two, a wonderful, wonderful thing. Sean, good to see
so
that.
Refreshing.
It is. A perfect word.
Could you imagine if we actually had elected officials that didn't obstruct what Trump's doing. I'm not saying they have to go along totally, but if they actually did things for the betterment of this country,
well, I mean,
success he would have and what would be going on in this world, how much better it would be.
I mean, we can look back to his first term. If they hadn't obstructed him so much then, if they hadn't tried to impeach him and all that stuff, even though he's better now, but just imagine all of the success that we could have had back then.
Yeah.
That would be the worst thing that ever happened to them. Well, it would be terrible if America's successful. It would be terrible if we were restored back to the nation that we once were. It would be terrible that hard work actually lets you succeed. It'd be terrible that, people actually realized what their rights were. It would be terrible if people actually were successful and were able to raise a family and pay for a house by working a single job. All of these things would be horrible.
Yeah, because what they want is the warmth of collectivism.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
Maduro got the warmth of collectivism.
What was that, John?
So Maduro got the warmth of collectivism. He was collected warmly.
It's wonderful because now, in terms of convenience, his toilet and sink are now connected.
Same room. You don't have to go anywhere now.
How cool is that?
And at his age, that might be a good thing.
Sure, because you don't have to go so far from your bunk.
Yeah,
he doesn't have to worry about elections. He has a nice place to stay.
He's going to eat. Right?
Medical.
He's living the actual socialist dream.
Yep.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Everything's being provided for him.
Okay, number 2.
Everything. It is the best metaphor. He achieved peak socialism. He went from like trying to get there. Like, I really love socialism. Like so much for it's almost like leveling up. He leveled up to peak socialism from where he was. And now he has like this aura about him where he can say, I am the ultimate socialist. I live in the absolute socialist place, which is prison.
So I did an investigation for the show, and that's where I came up with the thing from Smartmatic. And in the process of actually accessing the internet, I came up with this. This is 2006. This is Lou Dobbs when he still had a show, when he was still alive, before he passed away. You can still find things like this if you're curious.
A firm owned by Venezuela could be allowed to take over one of this country's top voting machine firms. Venezuela, of course, led by Hugo Chavez, working to change the views of most South American countries, move to the left. Critics of the deal say our nation's very democracy is now for sale without anyone doing a thing about it.
Imagine
I
that.
about that.
I forgot
about here. It's in the ozone to look at if you want to see.
You know, troops, one of the things that I think this country has vastly overlooked is the overall problematic states that were on our doorstep. We spent so much time with our focus in the Middle East. We spent so much time with our focus on China and Russia, as it should be. But we were in that quagmire of Afghanistan and Iraq for so long that Mexico got worse, tremendously worse, with what they were doing with our country and in their own country, the amount of drugs and everything else and gangs that were coming in and human trafficking and yada, yada, yada. You look at Colombia is sliding backwards. The 2 presidents ago, maybe it was the last president before this, was very pro-American, was very much against the cartels, was very much against all of this stuff, at least verbally. He wasn't supporting it like this president is. Oh, they stole Maduro, right? He's so worried about Maduro. Like I said, that it's almost like Democrats crying about Maduro tells you what their motivation is.
Oh, yeah.
We started to pay attention with Argentina and a couple other places, and now El Salvador. But the threat to our country from a lot of these rogue nations that were on our doorstep was vastly ignored for a long time. And I think that's why people are having this weird visceral attack of, oh my God, we're doing military actions in South America. Well, yeah, this is what happens when they just become their own version of Iraq or Afghanistan. It may not be that they're yelling Allahu Akbar and blowing us up and flying planes into buildings. Okay, fair enough. But they're still killing 100,000 Americans every year via drugs. That's a poison. If they were blowing up 100,000 Americans, if they blew up a football stadium with 80,000 Americans in it, we'd lose our shit. But it's okay because it's spread out through a couple of days, and it's just junkies who, you know,
one here, two there, one here.
Yeah, and they're just junkies. The addiction's the problem, Joe.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not individual's problem. Well, okay, to a point, but where it's coming from is also a problem. And you Democrats prove that because they want to go after gun companies for incidents. So you're telling me that in your mind there's causation somewhere, and you believe in it on some level. You're going after the gun maker for using it how it's not intended to be used is a little ridiculous.
There's a difference though. The guns allow people to be independent and allow people to not be under the thumb of these leftist elitists, whereas the drugs allows them to exert as much control over these people as they want.
Yeah,
hey, I just came across
give money to their friends by running NGOs running rehabs. I'm sorry, Joe. Oh, and the gun's protected by the Second Amendment. Sorry, Joe.
I don't mean to jump in. It just came out an hour ago. Venezuela's interim government vows unity behind Maduro following U.S. capture. Here, the unity of the revolutionary force is more than guaranteed, and here there is only one president whose name is Nicolas Maduro, whatever the hell.
The Americans are killing themselves at the gates of Baghdad. We are rebelling the infidels from our country. Same shit.
Interior Minister Cabello said in a recording released by the United Socialist Party of Venezuela.
Oh, thank God.
No one fall for the enemy's provocations.
And he's one of the two guys that Earl and myself pointed out. These shit sticks got to be taken out.
I'm not disagreeing with what you said. I just wanted that just came out. And
that's
an hour ago. And
do that. One thing I want to point out,
dude, I love the fact that it says, "Do not give in to the imperial provocation or whatever." Like, who's going to? It was like the statement they released that night where they were like, you know, stand up for your country, you know, take arms up. Who has an which Venezuelan has a fucking F-18 sitting in their driveway? They don't even have bullets. They don't have guns because you don't allow them to have guns. Like,
oh my God. I wish I would have saved it. There's a video of them training the forces. And it's like, and I hate to say it, it's these like two fat old ladies running with a gun, and it's like, what the fuck are they gonna do?
Yeah, but see, Sean hit on something that yielded the rest of us going, yeah, that's true, in terms of long ball. But the other thing that I want to point out that I think Sean was alluding to, in terms of we can no longer afford, and we have a president that is no longer doing the one-trick pony thing. Why is it that we can't and haven't focused on all of the plethora of things in the past, to include Islam, all enemies, foreign and domestic? We've got a lot of domestic enemies here in the United States. Does it not seem like Trump is one of the first presidents who has spread his focus not just on one thing, thanks Bush, fucktard, but also amongst a horde of other issues? And why haven't other presidents done this too? Because they have had the capability right here. You just got to want to.
Well,
and I think another part of it is, excuse me, President Trump has an amazing team behind him, and he knows how to delegate.
Yep.
And a lot of these other politicians, these leftists who rise to these positions, they've never had a job outside of politics in their lives, or at least not for the majority of their lives. And President Trump is relying on his team that he picked to get the job done. And the buck stops with him, yeah. But he's relying on them to advance American interests. And that's exactly what's happening.
And Earl, I think that goes back to your earlier point of what he learned in his first term and what he learned not being in his second term until recently. The other thing,
blow up your head here, Sean, because it's going to give you an ego.
Oh, what else?
Remember when I talked about there was that strike on that dock days before? It is now being reported the CIA was responsible for a drone strike on a port in Venezuela on Christmas Eve that marked the first known U.S. attack inside the country. The strike targeted a remote dock facility believed to be used as a storehouse for drugs trafficked by, that trade del Agua. Yeah. No casualties reported, but what did you say earlier about that strike?
That it was a test. It was a prod.
What does that look like right there? That article's telling you.
Yeah, they were probing. They were seeing what was a weak point and what would be detected and what wasn't. And the other thing too, and this goes back to you wonder what created the conversation with Maduro and probably via Rubio and Trump, and that started where all of a sudden he wanted to negotiate. That drone strike probably had a lot to do with that too, because
for sure.
That's a huge conversation. The other thing, BZ, back to your point about why other presidents haven't done anything. Look, one of the things that Trump has done that can't be undone with like USAID and all of these other things that, he's bombastic and he's tearing it down and blah, blah, and now exposing everything about South America and Venezuela. And we know about Mexico. And look, we talk about the effects that this could have in countries like Mexico or Cuba. But it brought to the forefront of people's mind that love thy neighbor only goes so far, right? It's one thing to love your neighbor when you can trust them, but when they're not good people, you ain't got to. And Trump's pointing out and exposing the fact that there's a lot of bad people, as we talked about, in this hemisphere that now people have eyes on. The American public had eyes on because other regimes and the Obama regime and Biden regime, and then the media that was complicit with that was not showing you or talking about this nearly as much. And now people are actively going out to try to seek information. Granted, a lot of them have blue hair and just morons, but that's not the point.
Don't forget.
What about this, though? What about the things that we've discovered since USAID, Doge, some of the things under 45, primarily under 47? Somebody said, and I think most of the people in here would agree, hey, what if we just cut off the fucking faucet to all this extraneous bullshit? I wonder what our true debt would be. Minimal.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can figure out how to put this. No, it's something I was just sitting here thinking and it's probably somewhat of a little nut job thinking, I'll admit it. But you look at all the craziness and evil that's going on in this world, not just here in the United States, South America, and how they're all covering for each other. I mean, is there some kind of cabal where you've had a central leadership that has been having their hands in all this?
Yes.
And so it's not crazy to think something like that.
No.
Some kind of that all this is all connected from the way our government works for the last couple of years, the way Russia's acting, EU, South America, Australia, just everybody. It can't be a coincidence they're all acting under the same ideology for some reason in it.
Because I would also add this too, and I want you guys to weigh in this. Historically, the U.S. has been proven so eminently fleeceable for decades. It's simply been presumed that we will grab our ankles because we have in the past, and we are now, and we will be in the future until ...
Yeah, I agree with that statement wholeheartedly. We were everybody's sugar daddy, and we never said no. We were the equivalent. Do you remember what was her name? Oh God, she married the oil tycoon. She was the blonde with the huge chest. She was a Naked Gun.
Chesticles.
Yeah. And then when she married the oil tycoon in his 90s out of love, and the family ended up suing the shit out of her because he changed his
and her other.
I can't think of her
she
name.
OD'd or something. That she
everyone's gonna look, save search on. That's what America was for all of these other countries. We constantly were just funding shit. And I know we're going to be giving money to a lot of other governments, and people are upset about that, and I understand why. But the announcement was
Anna Nicole Smith.
Anna Nicole Smith, thank you.
You got it.
I kept thinking Anna Nicole Tits, and I knew that wasn't right.
Close enough.
But the announcement today that we're no longer giving $1 to any NGO in foreign countries is enormous. And I think that was today or yesterday. I forget what day it is right now.
I just saw that today, but it could have been yesterday.
I think it was yesterday.
It makes me wonder, though, and maybe I'm being facetious when I'm saying this. How long will it be before another judge like Boasberg steps in and tries to shit in this current warrant punch bowl?
You must return Maduro to Venezuela.
I suspect there's
I think it's going to happen.
I think there's something in the offing. You can't convince me otherwise. That there are many like him and suits similar to that waiting in the wings.
I hope so.
I hope not. Happen. But
how does he keep getting all the fucking cases when it's supposed to be a random draw?
We've all been disabused.
Exactly.
Of this.
I hope it happens, and I'll tell you why. Because then maybe the Senate will finally start impeaching these fuckers.
It'll never happen. We don't have the numbers in the Senate.
It would be nice. Well, shit.
The Democrats are never going to vote for. Well, all right. I can't believe I'm going to actually say this, but Fetterman might.
Yeah, no, I think Fetterman would.
Oh, the only sane one of them all.
You have some. Look, you just saw Debbie Wasserman Schultz come out and support Trump for this.
Well,
right?
But will she actually vote that way, though?
But
that's
what
the
I'm
thing.
saying is this is a hot button issue for people in purple states. And we all know that holding on to their phony baloney jobs is the most important thing in the world. And they may take the hit with their own party to save their asses in a purple state.
Well, look at MTG. She's out there running her mouth about this.
I know.
The one I haven't seen, but I've heard Rand Paul, another one, but I expected him.
Massey, the same thing.
Massey,
the same thing.
Yeah, Massey, Rand Paul.
Rand Paul will never get over that Trump knocked him out of the presidency, Ron.
Well, and that's with both of them.
You think that's part of it?
Part of it, but and I'm going to get in trouble, and I've said it on my show plenty of times. The problem I have with Libertarian Party is my way and my way only, and if you're not going to do it my way, I'm not going to agree with you.
Take my ball and go home. Yeah.
And I hate that. I mean, they have very good points in the Libertarian Party, but that all or nothing, and none of them can agree what all is. That's the other thing.
Yeah, they don't have any set. They're a whole hot mess, and
too many of them are fucking nuts.
Not all of them. There are some very, very good libertarians, and look, I agree
there
with
is, but
and Rand Paul on many things, but the idea that we should stand by and never do a goddamn thing, no matter what potential outcome has with our country, is beyond me.
America first does not mean America only.
Well, and this is America first. I mean, at the end of the day,
they
this
think
is
America first is supposed to be we ignore everything that's not in our boundaries.
Right.
And that's not America first.
The problem is it's almost like politics, right? The old saying is you can ignore politics, but eventually politics won't ignore you. It's that same mentality.
Oh, I'm going to bring it down to a smaller scale. People that own houses. If you only care about your house and don't worry what other people do when that neighborhood starts to go down and you don't speak up about that neighborhood going down, your house value is going to drop and your house is going to get destroyed in the process of it.
Yeah.
Same way we've done all this. I've used it before. We're giving out loans to people. Would you take out a loan? And I'm asking the three of you, would you take out a loan that you're going to have to pay back to give to someone that lives 10 miles away from you, that hates you and will never pay you back? Would you do that?
No.
We would, because we have common sense, but
that's what our government does.
Yeah.
The bulk of Americans right now, I fear to say, are stupid.
Yes.
I have no other way to couch it except that. There are too many Americans that are stupid, and they're stupid parents raising stupid children. The people in here are clearly part of the exceptional group. But I fear way too much of America is comprised of idiots.
Well, and look, I was actually going to talk about this on my show tomorrow night, maybe if I had time. You start ripping down all of the graduation requirements and you start looking at all the educational requirements that have been dumbed down through this country in the last 10 years. And you don't need to read, write, and do anything in order to graduate in some of these states. And, how come the Democrats are blue states have the really, really high graduation point and they're going to colleges and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, yeah, because they literally all they have to do is show up 60% of the time and they graduate.
And they also have the highest rate of people who are suing them for graduating them out of high school without being able to read or write.
With zero accomplishments.
Universities are teaching their freshmen stuff that they should have learned in high school because they can't do college level shit right now, or entry level college shit because they can't do high school shit.
I love this.
But it allows them to charge more money for more classes.
Yeah, it does.
AMT hit it. The problem with politics is
it's full of
politicians.
Yep. It's a problem with bullshit. It's full of shit.
Yep. Hey, let me play
my shit don't stink.
This. Okay. I don't know about you guys, but I like Tim Burchett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said a lot of interesting stuff for the last video of the night, because we've almost been here for 2 hours, which is just about the envelope of where we want to be here tonight. But here's Tim Burchett, and he's weighing in. And he says, I kind of like what's going on.
Hey, everybody, Tim Burchett. I'm sure everybody's waking up to the news of what's going on in Venezuela right now. They took out Maduro, the dictator down there. He was convicted in drug court. He's a narco terrorist. They pumped.
Okay, stop. The reason I played this is because Democrats don't want to acknowledge he's been convicted in drug court. This isn't about taking over a country. This is about the setup that Trump planned since before January 21st of this year.
So that junk into our kids' veins in this country, and would do absolutely nothing to stop it, funded by those folks. And he took over Venezuela several years ago, became dictator, seized all the oil production, and currently is the Chinese delegation, Chinese Communist Party, was meeting with him, and we believe they were orchestrating a partnership with that oil. And of course, they would use that oil when they tried to move on Taiwan. They'd need that a major military operation like.
As we all said here, this all dovetails. This all comes together.
I love Tim Burchett for a lot of different reasons, but one of them is he actually makes me feel like I'm still in touch with how to use electronic social media and stuff like that, because I'm not doing the dad recordings where you're seeing up his nose 80% of the time. I adore him. I do. I love it. I just wish somebody would be like, dude, all you have to do is hold that up just a wee bit higher, please.
But the funny thing is, it is him. It is he who said, if I could only get the rest of my fellow Republicans to try the slightest to begin to understand social media, its impact, how to get on it, how to express my views, how to get my views and my the platform, how to get it out there. He said essentially too many of them, and I not interested.
And he does a good job of doing a video per issue for the most part. Occasionally he'll do like a wrap up. Usually if there's an issue that needs to be talked about, he talks about it and pushes it out. I have something I want to share, and I don't think this is a coincidence. And maybe Democrats will actually understand this a little bit more. Can I share my screen for just a hot second?
Sure, hit it.
Second's over. This is Saddam Hussein from Hot Shots Part 2. who does not look at all unlike Nicolas Maduro. You figure the rest out on your own.
Did you guys see what?
Is that a coincidence? I don't think so.
Or The Simpsons.
Did you see Starlink opened up access to Starlink free until February 3rd?
Yeah, in Iran, right?
No, in Venezuela.
No, Venezuela.
Oh, I heard they were doing Iran too.
The whole country, he opened it up to.
I heard they were doing Iran, and that there was a
it.
country in the region that was really good at maybe infiltrating, was starting to bring some Starlink equipment in, potentially, maybe, possibly.
I would not doubt it, because he loves that freedom of information.
Yep. It's interesting. Look,
and what's the number one app in Venezuela right now?
X.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
After the attack, the number one app was X.
Imagine that.
Nice.
Because let's face it, everybody else knew around the world what was going on before they did, because their internet was out for the most part. So that was probably like one of the only feeds they could get. Look, like this doesn't change everything at once, and we've already
going to be fight.
There's still a lot more to be done, but I think that so many messages were sent through Operation Absolute Resolve that will positively change the course of the world in a lot of ways, even if it doesn't change it all at once.
What do you think the chances are that the other people who need to be removed, what do you think the chances are that there are some covert operations to get that done?
I think there's always a chance of that.
Yeah.
I think that, how many of them are being offered an Uber out? And how many of them?
Because the CIA is already on the ground.
I don't see this administration going, job's done, let's walk away, like other administrations have done when they've
and here's
done something like this and just walked away. I see this administration following through and making sure.
I agree.
It gets done properly.
I agree wholeheartedly. The other thing too, and Earl, you just brought up the CIA. Doesn't this operation, at least on some level, give you a little bit of an inkling maybe that the CIA is finally starting to be reined in again,
or actually working for the Americans?
That's
against
the no leaks. How many of those leaks in the past came out of the CIA and the FBI, and you didn't get either one, and both agencies were involved this time?
Yeah.
That's
the people in charge of those agencies are putting the smackdown on people.
But Hegseth, I'm going to give that man a lot of credit. He's doing a lot of good overall, getting everything back in shape, figuratively and literally.
He has far exceeded my expectations.
Agreed.
And I knew as soon as he started screaming, he's unqualified, that he was the best person for the job.
I agree.
Hey, folks, let's wrap this up. And I want to do that by asking 4 questions of each person here. And the questions are this. And I won't make you write them down. There won't be a test or anything like that. I'll go over the questions. Jersey Joe, first question. What do you think is going to be the outcome of this? I'll just go over the questions first, and then I'll remind you of the questions. Number 1, what do you think is going to be the outcome of this? Number 2, how do you think the Democrats are going to fight this? Because they will fight. They are fighting. How successful will they be in obstruction? And what do you guys think are the implications for the midterm? So, Joe, number 1, what do you think will be the outcome of this?
The outcome is going to be a long, drawn-out battle with this. Maybe battle's not the right word, but this isn't over. I know we talked about it, and me and Sean do think that there's still going to be a lot of fear. I don't think Maduro's forces are just going to roll over just yet, but I think in the long run, this is going to be better for the world. And in the long run, we're going to get the right leaders into Venezuela.
Okay, number 2, how do you think the Democrats are going to fight this? In what fashion? Obviously, they've said they will.
Well, they already called an emergency caucus meeting. What was it, for today or tomorrow? To discuss how they are going to combat this or deal with it. And to tell you the truth, I really don't give a shit what they think or say.
Will they be successful?
No. They're looking like idiots. And the only ones that see this as a bad is the politicians and that fringe group on the left, that small blue-haired, nose-piercing idiots think it's bad. And it's going to push more people away. Not that there's many people left, but it's going to push more people away from the Democrats because they're looking like they're backing somebody that starved his people and shoved drugs into the United States.
It's amazing.
Okay, so what do you think the implications are for the midterms? Because it's 26.
It's not going to help the Democrats at all. If the Republicans play it right, which they can screw up French toast. But if they play it right, I think they can actually add a couple of seats off of this.
Okay, Big E, what do you think? Number one, what do you think the outcome of this is going to be?
I think ultimately the outcome is going to be that Venezuela is going to rebound. That's not going to happen overnight. And I'm not even sure if it's going to happen in Trump's presidency. I think it's going to take a lot longer than that to completely play out.
Okay, and then number two, in what fashion do you think the Democrats are going to go after this and fight it?
Oh, they're gonna fight it. They're gonna launch lawsuits. They're gonna try and free Maduro. It's not going to go anywhere. I don't think they will be successful at all. They have little, if any, legal ground to stand on when it comes to that. Jonathan Turley had a great piece on this exact topic, either yesterday or earlier today, where he talks about that, and it's not going to be successful.
Okay, so that just answered the third question about its success. So number four, what do you think the implications for all of this are for the midterms?
I think if, like Joe said, if the Republicans play their cards right, because we all know, and I've said this many times before, they are notorious for snatching defeat from the jaws of victory.
Yeah.
If they play it right, we could add probably 2 or 3 seats in the House, and maybe even 2 or 3 in the Senate if they play it right. But
okay, Sean,
we all know what the chances of that are.
4 questions for you. What do you think will be the outcome?
I think the outcome is going to be a long-term change, but it is going to be long-term, and that's to be expected. I'd like a glass of that when we're done, please.
What is that?
I already know. Is it Garrison?
It is Sagamore Spirit Double Oak Rye.
Oh, I thought it was wine for a second.
Mm-hmm. Anywho, so the outcome, I think it's going to be a long-term positive outcome. It's going to be short-term. As far as cycle, this is not going to stay in the news cycle.
I'm sorry. I fucking love that comment, so I had to put it in there.
That is amazing.
That's just great.
You even got the different lengths on the hair, you know.
Well, I don't. None of us really have a lot of hair. You have it long, it doesn't mean you have it a lot.
We have a great chat room. Damn it, Jim.
That was fantastic.
Yeah,
so I think the
well
outcome
done, Polar Nights.
long term, as soon as, and I think it will, and this dovetails probably into the midterms a little bit soon, but I think this will benefit Republicans. I think a lot of middle of the road Democrats or undecided voters or independent voters, whatever you want to call them, I think are going to be positively affected from this.
Wait, stop the presses. This dude is from Norway.
Norway. We hit all the countries, man.
He's watching
That's
from
awesome.
Norway. Dude, thank you.
When we come out, can I get a trim or it doesn't matter.
God, that's super.
Thanks for being here, Polar Nights. We appreciate it.
You bet.
You look at some states that maybe needed a little bit of bump back for Republicans like Florida and Texas that have a large Venezuelan population. This might positively affect that. So I think it all kind of goes together. And I know I'm answering kind of all the questions at once. The Democrats, the Democrats with this, like Earl alluded to with the Jonathan Turley statement, it's like a dog humping a pillow. It looks like a lot's going on, but it's not going to amount to anything important. They're not going to be successful. They're not going to be doing anything of the sort. It's just what it is. They're not nothing. It's nothing. That's all they are, is a dog humping a pillow. Like I said in the midterms,
I gotta tell you, dude's on a fucking roll, okay?
and
then
then
on a roll.
and then in the midterms, yeah, I mean, I think we were already on point to pick up a couple seats, and I think that'll just help that. So I don't think it's going to be anything incredible. Like, there's going to be no red wave. It's just not going to happen. But I think it will maybe secure a couple of seats that were questionable.
Governor Rubio of Venezuela's.
Huh?
Governor Rubio of Venezuela.
El Presidente. You're only allowed to call him El Presidente.
State.
Okay. I go back. I love this. All right.
That's awesome.
I love the hell out of that. That is superior in all respects. And as we go away, I got to say, I love this one too.
The green-eyed monster got him.
One of my faves, especially with the smile and the hands.
Hello. Waking up to that. Jeez Louise. That's what I thought was happening when my computer died. I thought they were all coming for me, but
that's great. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, folks. It's Sunday night. We were going to do this Saturday. It wasn't convenient, so we lopped it over to Sunday. And so that means we have a brand new week coming up. And so what I'd like to basically what I've said before is SHR has got, let me go to our website. Go to shrmedia.com, shrmedia.com. If you want to find some great articles, as I indicated at the beginning of the show, shrmedia.com. A lot of great stuff is there. And here's what it looks like. When you see the top of that, you'll know you're there because it is conservative media done right. That having been said, it's a brand new week.
Polar Nights is killing it in the chat right now.
Wait a minute.
We're glad to be here to help you out, Polar Nights. Just trying to help another brother out. That's what we do on this show.
Okay, all I know is Polar Nights from Norway. Whoever you are, you have the award this week for best chat, best consecutive chat comments, best most awesome consecutive chat comments. And boy, do we thank you for being here tonight because you've been locky low with everybody.
Find us on YouTube and you can get to the main chat. We'd greatly appreciate it.
Oh, man.
YouTube. That was
holy moly. That was great.
Awesome.
Anyway, SHR, we got a show for you every day of the week. Yep. Some days of the week, we have two shows for you, two separate shows. So I want to start with Sean, Monday and Wednesday, your show. Tell folks about what you've coming. We're going to start the beginning of the week on Monday. Sean, take it.
Well, Joe's technically before me on Monday, but that's all right.
Oh, shit. That's right. I forgot.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Well, at your age, I can't expect you to remember everything. Monday and Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Coming up tomorrow night, we're obviously going to break into more of what happened in Operation Absolute Resolve.
We're going to break into a sea shanty.
Yeah.
or a bottle of whiskey. One of the two.
Probably a little bit of both. If we're
or you might see him in a diaper.
We'll go through the updates. We'll go
please
through,
no.
Hopefully we'll get some more information. And I'm sure there's going to be movement. So I think that's going to be a majority of the show tomorrow. But I also want to talk a little bit about politics because there's a whole bunch of new laws that want to affect January 1st in California that most people don't know about. And one of them is the one where pretty much anyone can stroll into a school in California and take possession of your child. So we'll talk about that on tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Pacific. And you can follow me on X, the number 2 Against Tyranny.
And Jersey Joe, since I mistakenly mislabeled your times, please, sir.
It's all right. You can catch me every Monday and Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on SHR Media. And I'll be making my return tomorrow. I'm glad to be coming back. I know my wife will. She's been bitching at me to get back on air. So get her out of her hair and give her some time without me bitching about politics around her. You can catch me also on X at Jersey Joe Talks. And I'll see you tomorrow night at 9 p.m.
Really quick, I want to respond to Polar Nights. It also involved not letting Russia and China and Iran in our back door, and they get all of Venezuela's oil as well. So it was multifaceted. But go ahead, E.
My show is on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11 a.m. Central Time. And obviously on Tuesday, we're going to be updating whatever transpires between now and then for on Operation Absolute Resolve. And like Sean said, there's some laws that went into effect. And I'm going to be talking about some Second Amendment stuff too. So we're going to get into that. And of course, I'll be talking about the Word of God, and we'll see what I do there. But that's what I'm going to be talking about on Tuesday. And I'm on X. You can follow me there at Mission Ready Man. Follow me on all the socials at Mission Ready Man.
And now, BZ, I'll do your lead in because you did all.
Oh, sure. Okay, hit it.
BZ, two things. Number one, would you say Operation Absolute Resolve is the biggest story of 2026 so far?
Ian, what is this? The
on the fourth
day of. On the fourth day of January 2026, yes, it qualifies. Wait, it does, because yes.
Tell everyone where they can find your show, sir.
Hey, same place you can find all these miscreants over here, down below, top and bottom. I am on Tuesday and Thursday nights, same bat time, same bat channel as Sean Lewis's Edge of Liberty, 8 p.m. Pacific and 10 p.m. Central, 11 p.m. Eastern. And I am the Conservative Sherpa. And folks, if you would, please like and follow the SHR Media YouTube channel. Dang, I forgot to put this up. Hey, look, we got 703, perhaps 704 today.
704.
We're up to 704. And that's subscribers. Go to the SHR Media YouTube channel, subscribe there. And then also, if you would, click on that bell for each show so that you get notified of our shows. And that's the best I can say. In each individual show here, the chat room is in the SHR Media YouTube channel. We would much prefer that everybody jump like a quick binky over to the SHR Media YouTube channel chat room. And with that, Jersey Joe, thank you for being here. Big E, thank you for being here. Sean, thank you for being here. We're going to wrap this up, and we'll see everybody here tomorrow night. For Sean, for Jersey Joe, for Big E, and myself, we got a show for each one of you every night. Folks, God bless, take care, be safe, and thank you all.